Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into the incredibly chilling historical haunting of the Black Hollow anomaly. We're going to put on our digital detective hats and piece together the terrifying evidence of this internet folklore, treating it exactly like an open cold case file. I want you to picture us sitting around a campfire right now, listening to a local storyteller share the town's absolute darkest secret. But instead of ghost stories about a creaky old house, we're looking at hard, digital artifacts from a live broadcast that seemingly defied reality itself.
Okay, so let's jump right into this by comparing the cold, hard, official narrative with the incredibly unnerving online folklore that suddenly resurfaced back in 2026. Now, official records state that Black Hollow Station was demolished in the early 2000s after a catastrophic structural collapse. So, case closed, right? Well, not exactly. Deep in the forgotten, dusty corners of the internet, we're talking old railway forums, abandoned blog archives, late-night chat rooms. People insist the station still exists. They claim it's still out there, hiding in the woods, just not in the way it should be.
It all kicked off with a late-night live stream by a German urban explorer who goes by the name Creepiest. He specialized in getting into restricted European sites. And that night, he was exploring these overgrown, dead tracks in the dense forests of northern France. Now, the skeptical train enthusiasts in his chat, they were super quick to dismiss his initial footage. They're typing things like, "No trains run there," and "That line was decommissioned in 1994. Dude, that's impossible." I mean, they tuned in expecting to see rusting metal, some faded graffiti, maybe some eerie silence. They were entirely unprepared for what actually happened next.
To really grasp the weight of this anomaly, I want you to put yourself right there in the live stream chat that night. Imagine watching this live in your dark bedroom. The only light is just the cold glow of your monitor hitting your face. And slowly, you start realizing this stream isn't normal. You're watching Creepiest walk his flashlight beam past the last known point on any official topographic scans. He is literally stepping off the map and into the unknown. The chat is moving incredibly fast, everyone's trying to make sense of the shifting shadows, and this deep, creeping dread just begins to set in. Let's track his exact descent into the dark here. We're gonna go minute by minute, noting the precise sensory escalation that started genuinely terrifying the modern viewers watching live. At exactly 2:08 a.m., he walks into this thick, unnatural fog that just seems to swallow the light. By 2:10 a.m., visibility drops to barely a few meters. Then, at 2:12 a.m., his camera picks up strange, unexplained electrical interference, this heavy static randomly cutting across the audio feed, and at exactly 2:13 a.m., the unmistakable heavy echo of a distant train horn rolls through the trees, on a track that hasn't seen a single train in decades.
Out of that thick fog emerged something completely impossible. Creepiest kept walking, you can hear his breathing getting heavy in the microphone, and suddenly, there it was. A fully operational Victorian train station standing deep in the untouched forest. We're talking massive, heavy iron beams and flickering gas-style lamps casting this warm, super unnatural glow operating perfectly without any electrical grid nearby. And honestly, the most unsettling part, the wrought iron entrance sign clearly read Black Hollow, but viewers in the chat noticed the letters seemed to physically shift and warp slightly whenever the camera moved.
Treat this next part literally like an evidence log from our cold case report. Creepiest captured bizarre auditory and visual anomalies the absolute second he stepped inside the station architecture. The audio was filled with distant announcements crackling over these unseen, rusted speakers, layered over the sound of soft, shuffling footsteps. But the language of those announcements, it was completely unidentifiable. It didn't fully match any known European dialect. It was just these strange, haunting, melodic murmurs. Visually, a mechanical departure board was rapidly flickering with destinations that were entirely unreadable, made up of symbols that simply shouldn't exist.
Now, the absolute crucial point in all this evidence is the exact time. Creepiest slowly looks up, and hanging high above the main platform is this ornate station clock. Its hands were boldly frozen at exactly 2:13 a.m. Think about that. That perfectly matches the precise moment the distant train horn had first sounded out in the woods. Time inside this impossible, gaslit station wasn't just standing still, it was permanently, deliberately locked on to that single, terrifying minute. Then, we get our first major visual anomaly on the platform itself. As Creepiest panned his camera through the gloom, he revealed passengers who were seemingly lost in time. They were standing completely still on the platform edge, not moving, not even blinking. And the clothing was entirely wrong. Historical garments from completely different centuries clashed right there on a single, silent platform. You had people in tailored 1920s coats standing shoulder to shoulder with modern windbreaker jackets, right next to heavy Victorian dresses. A haunting collection of lost souls from totally different eras, all silently waiting for the exact same train. The suspense hits an absolute breaking point right here. Cadex, his confusion clearly turning into raw, suffocating fear, slowly raises his camera and whispers a desperate question to the motionless crowd. "Are you real?" There's no response, no movement, just the eerie, looping crackle of that unidentifiable language echoing over the station speakers. I mean, just imagine the live chat at this exact moment. Thousands of people sitting at home watching in absolute silent panic, literally holding their breath, waiting to see what happens in the shadows.
And then, pure nightmare logic takes over. Seconds after he asks that desperate question, one of the figures standing at the edge of the platform slowly turns its head toward the camera lens. Not all the way, just enough to catch the flickering gaslight. And the face wasn't monstrous, which somehow makes it infinitely worse. It was terrifyingly familiar, like a face you've seen deep in a childhood dream and immediately forgotten the second you wake up. The surreal, uncanny nature of this specific moment is exactly what haunts the internet to this very day.
Suddenly, that distant train horn blares again, and this time it is deafeningly close. The entire platform physically shifts, like reality itself just misaligned and slipped violently off its axis. Cadex starts backing away in absolute terror, whispering to his audience, "I think it's looping. This place is..." And then the stream violently glitches. The electrical interference completely overwhelms the broadcast, literally tearing the image to shreds, and the screen cuts to absolute black. The stream ended precisely at 2:13 a.m. We really have to look at the investigation aftermath to understand why this case remains wide open. When digital sleuths and local investigators later searched those precise coordinates in northern France, they found absolutely nothing. No trace of a Victorian station, no abandoned tracks hiding in the brush, no unnatural fog, and zero signal interference whatsoever. Even modern high-resolution satellite images showed nothing but dense, unbroken forest canopy. It cemented this as an unsolved paranormal anomaly where the only surviving physical evidence is the glitchy digital archive of the livestream itself.
But here is the truly chilling takeaway. The big thing you should remember from this explainer. The internet sleuths who obsessively rewatch that footage, going frame by frame, notice something hiding at the very end. At the 2:13 mark, just a fraction of a second before the feed cuts out entirely, there is a faint reflection caught in the glass of a ticket window behind KDX, a second train station platform, empty, waiting in the dark. Which leaves us with one final, incredibly provocative question that continues to echo through those late-night online forums. Who or what is that empty platform waiting for?